Okay, welcome back to FTL easy mode playthrough using the Engi ship. When we left off, I had just finished up Sector 3 and was about to jump out, so let's do that. Okay, here we have the option to go through a slug-controlled nebula or the civilian sector. I'm going to play it safe and go through the civilian sector. If you look ahead to the map, we're going to have to go through either a nebula and at least one hostile sector, or up to 3 hostile sectors, so we've got a rough path ahead of us regardless. So I'm going to stick to the friendlier bits for now. We jump out, and as you can see, our only jump point is over in this other nebula there, but that's not so bad, because it'll delay the rebel fleet a little bit. And we could trade 1 fuel for 4 missiles, but not using missile weapons, so let's jump down here. I could jump over here and skirt around the nebula, but I'd really like to explore more of the sector. Alright, this is a fun one. We've come across a pirate, but because all of our weapon slots are full, this blue option has popped up to activate your advanced weapons threateningly. So we're going to do that, and that kind of scares the pirate, and they offer us a bribe in exchange for not attacking you. So we'll take that, because why not? It's free scrap and fuel. And we are very close to being able to afford that last weapon system upgrade, which this early on in the game is very good news. Picking up a single life form on the surface of a nearby moon, and we found a new survivor. It's a human, which is not amazing, but more crew is good crew, so we'll take him. And we'll jump down here. Right into a nearby sun. Alright. Well, thankfully, with the Ion Blast 2, it's going to be pretty easy to take down this guy's shields before we get too much fire damage. My only concern is that since we don't have upgraded doors, it's going to be able to spread pretty quickly. Especially when it starts in an area where I don't have an easy access to the airlocks. So I'm going to send both of these guys in there to fight that fire. And in the meantime, I'm just going to focus on blowing up their ship. Alright, with that fixed, I'm going to send these guys back to their posts. And we should be almost done with that enemy ship. You know, they're offering us some surrender stuff. Let's say no, because I'm mean like that. And we get some more scraps, some fuel, some drone parts, and a fire in our sensor room. That could be bad news. So let's go A, check it out, and B, see if we can get it put out. And while we're at it, we're going to jump away. Another giant alien spider event. We're not going to deal with that. If you have a boarding drone available, you can get a blue option for the giant alien spiders where you launch a boarding drone into the station to destroy them for you, and you get a small reward for that. So that's pretty much the only way I'm aware of to safely complete that event without potentially losing a crew member. And here we find another store with the aforementioned boarding drone, but I'm not interested in that. I'm just going to fix up my stuff, sell that heavy laser, because I don't need that, and upgrade my weapons again. And I'm going to buy another unit of power while I'm at it. So now, now I am firing 2 ion blasts every, 3.5 seconds, as well as a burst laser. I am basically just going to tear through enemy ships' shields. I can't wait to see how this goes, because I've never used 2 ion blast 2s before at the same time. Got another store down here. I'm actually really tempted to take that pike beam, if only to use on the final boss in exchange for one of the Ion Blast 2s, but I think the scrap is probably better spent elsewhere, so I'm not going to buy that for now. I'd love to show off the pike beam, it's a very good weapon, but I have other priorities right now, including, while I'm thinking about it, upgrading my door system and my engine room, and then I'll buy some power for the engine room next. We have another distress beacon down here. Here we have a disease that's broken out on a human colony. If we send in our crew to help control the crowds, there's a good chance that one of our crew members will get sick and die. We could ignore the request, which would be awful, or because we have an Engi, and Engi, being machine life forms, are immune to disease, we'll send him in to calm down the infected. We get a whole bunch of rewards for this. We get a bunch of missiles, some drone parts, a whole bunch of scrap, and a free firebomb weapon, which is cool. I don't really use firebombs very much. I find weapons that start fires are only situationally useful at best, and I generally think that those weapon slots are better taken up with something else. But we'll be able to sell that. That event you can also complete if you have a rock crew member or an upgraded medbay. Those will all give you blue options as well. The Rebel fleet is getting fairly close to the exit, so I'm going to jump up here into the nebula and try to slow them down a little bit. At least for one turn. And here we have another pirate that we're going to threaten into bribing us, which is good. We are doing much better on fuel so far this playthrough than on that first one. So let's jump over here now. And here we have another mercenary that we're going to fight, because I really want to try out dual ion blasts. I think it's going to be really funny. So I have one targeted at his shields, and the other targeted at his weapons. And then I will have my burst laser targeted at his weapons as well. So hopefully, even if the burst laser misses, the other ion blast will keep his weapons jammed up and he won't be able to fire. Not before he got one missile off, but that's okay. Well, alright, that's less okay. But my guy will get that fixed up, and it'll be alright. And in the meantime, I don't think he'll actually be able to do anything. This is maybe a little bit game-breaking, actually. I'm not really sure what the enemy ships, at least on easy mode, would be able to do to counter this, so we'll see how it goes. I should say that Ion Blast 2 is one of the more uncommon weapons to come across, both in shops and just at random in the game. The weaker weapons seem to be more common, as would make sense. Burst Laser 2s are also fairly uncommon. I'm pretty surprised to have gotten them in stores twice in as many playthroughs. But I will take what I can get. And they're surrendering. They're mercenaries. I feel a little bit guilty just killing them for no reason, so we'll let them live. Get some more fuel, get some more scrap. Let's see. I said I was going to put more power into my engines, but I have enough scrap to upgrade my shields again, so let's do that, and then my next few upgrades will just be reactor power to power everything. And then we'll be in good shape as far as defense goes. We have an empty sector, and the end of this map. And we get some scrap and a free anti-personnel drone. Well, that's better than nothing. I can at least spend some of that scrap on power. And if you look up here, I don't know if you can see it on my resolution, but my evasion is actually up to 22%. That is because my engine room guy is very close to leveling up, and once he fills that bar, I think it'll go up to either 24 or maybe even 25. And then, once he levels up again, it'll go up another 4 or 5%. So there are measurable benefits to giving your guys skills, and that's why I typically like to pick one role for each crew member and have them stick to that. Here we are in Sector 5. I'm going to start jumping around and exploring. We have an empty jump point. And here we have a forward scout of the Rebel fleet. This sounds like a great opportunity to target both his shields and his engines with my ion blasts. And since he has 2 levels of shield protection, I'm actually going to wait for my ion blast to take down his shielding entirely before I even fire my burst laser. That just seems more efficient. Oh, there I misclicked and accidentally targeted an empty room in his hull instead of his weapon system, but these things happen. And, once again, he's effectively dead in the water. I have found that at least with most of the ships, once you get good at the game and familiar with the various weapon types, most of the enemy ships don't pose a significant threat until the end game, except maybe for the stuff in the Rebel fleet. There are some ships like the Slug Cruisers or the Mantis Type B that are a lot more finicky with regards to difficulty. Like, sometimes you'll get lucky and it'll be a cakewalk, and other times it'll just completely destroy you. Here we have more Engi surrendering to us, will be nice, and yeah, this time they're relieved and eager to get underway. They set off without saying goodbye, so we get nothing for that, but at least we weren't jerks, like we have been to so many other people. Here we can sell missiles for scrap, and I'm actually going to do that because A, 10 missiles for 30 scrap is a good deal, B, we don't need the missiles, and C, I need to spend that money on reactor power, because now I can fully power my shields and my engines, so I have 27% evasion and 3 layers of shielding. Not bad. Really not bad for Sector 5. Here we have a distress call. Let's look for the ship. It's empty, but we got some stuff from it, which is cool. Jump down here. There's another store up there that I'm going to check out next. I just want to try and get some more scrap. Free scrap from a Zoltan science study. And let's check out the store. Alright, I'd really like to get cloaking, but I can't. I'm not even close to being able to afford that. I will sell the fire beam and the anti-personnel drone. Now I'm actually pretty close to being able to afford cloaking. This is tempting. If I sold my drone recovery arm, I'd still be 5 short. If I sold the Medibot dispersal unit, I would have exactly enough. Yeah, I think cloaking is too useful to pass up, like, as early as possible, so we're gonna get rid of the Engi Medibot. It's really nice, but it's not nearly as critical to survival as the cloaking unit is, so. And, oh, this distress beacon was nothing but a trap. Color me surprised. And once again, I will target his shields and his weapons. And, yeah, I'm getting really unlucky with my dodging in this playthrough. But, even with that said, it's not a huge deal. You'll see that the fire has destroyed my door system, which means until I get that repaired, I can't open or close any doors. That can be really dangerous if you've got multiple fires burning on your ship, or you've got doors open to the vacuum, where you'll take damage trying to get something repaired. It has ended my game on a few occasions where, I was basically trapped in an airless ship with nothing I could do about it. But if you stay on top of it, it's usually not too bad. Got some scrap for that, which is good. Got our dudes healed up, which is even better. And I'm not sure what my next upgrade should be. I'd really love to come across a couple Mantis up for hire or something, and then get a crew teleporter and do some ship-to-ship boarding actions, because those are really fun, but that may not be in the cards, so we'll just hang on to the scrap for now. Can make one more jump before we get to the end of the sector. Here we come across an Engi supply colony hiding an equipment cache from an old war. We could either booby-trap the cache and spend 2 missiles to delay the fleet, or we could take what's in the cache. I don't really know why we would want to booby-trap it. I'd rather see what's in there. And that was cool. We got another boarding drone, which is basically free loot, and more scrap. So, I think that was the right choice there. Jumping to the exit, we come across another Rebel transport that we are going to try and take down. This may be tricky, though, because they have a Defense Drone Mark II, which will be able to shoot down our incoming ion blasts and lasers. What I'm hoping is that they will fire quickly enough that with 2 of them targeted at their shields, I'll be able to get some shots through. So, in this fight, I'm really just kind of counting on volume of fire to get me through. You can see that defense drone is doing a really good job of taking out my incoming shots, so I'm actually going to target my burst laser at their drone control room. Hopefully I'll be able to take down their drone control and then refocus my fire somewhere else. And lest I forget, I have cloaking, so I'll use that to dodge at least a couple of those laser shots. And now looks like one of my lasers might have hit their drone, which took it out, so now I can just target like I normally would. It's saying jump is imminent, so I may not actually get these guys before they're able to jump away. Yeah, they got away. And that's what happens if you don't take out somebody who's trying to jump in time. Thankfully, nothing really lost from that. It was just kind of a wasted encounter. Next up, we could either jump to an uncharted nebula or a rock-controlled sector. I think the nebula is probably a little safer for us, since we are not very well equipped to deal with borders right now, especially not rock borders. So let's check out the nebula. And our first jump is right to a store. That's okay, I'll take that. We're running... Oh, there's a mantis for hire. That's excellent. I'm going to sell that boarding drone. Hire the mantis. And I'm a little short to buy the crew teleporter too, and I'm running low on fuel, and I've taken some damage. But that's okay. We're at least part of the way to having a decent boarding party now, so... Here we can sell drone parts for scrap. Normally with an Engi ship I wouldn't, but since I'm not using drones, and I would really like to have another 48 scrap so I could go back and buy that crew teleporter, I'm going to go ahead and sell a bunch of them. And then jump back and buy the crew teleporter. Because that sounds like it'll be fun. The crew teleporter, like all other ship upgrades, requires power, so we're going to have to buy some more reactor space. But first, we are going to fight these mantis. I'm going to try something a little different here. I'm going to aim both of my ion blasts at the shields and see if that takes it down faster. It should, but I'm not positive. Yeah, I'd say that works pretty well. And now that they're down, I can retarget one of them at their weapons. I have to say, having 2 ion blasts too is pretty game-breaking. I'd complain, but it's making it easy, which is making me look like I'm good at this, so... I'm not sure if I'm going to take this loadout into the final boss fight, because I'm not sure it's enough damage output to really survive, but we'll see what happens as we get there. There's every chance that I simply won't come across any more weapons and I won't have a choice, so... That's an empty sector. Here there's a heavily damaged Federation ship that's trying to hide from the rebels in this nebula. We lose their signal, but because we have a teleporter, we can lock onto their life signs and then follow them. This is good. We get a bunch of scrap and a new crew member. It's another Engi, so not as good as having a mantis would have been, but I'll certainly take it. We'll keep him in the med bay for now. And before I forget, I want to... Let's see... I definitely need at least 2 more blocks of reactor power. I think that's good enough for now. Now my engines are fully powered and my teleporter's on, so I'm going to move my mantis over to the teleporter. I'm almost never going to be sending him over onto enemy ships alone, because that's just a recipe for disaster. But if I can get another mantis or a rockman on my crew, I might do some boarding with this set. Alright, rock armored transport nearby looks to have lost its bearings, but when you hail, they grow suspicious, and they're like, "You're repugnant, leave." We can either just leave, or we could take offense and attack them. Since this is in the middle of an ion storm, I'm actually just going to leave. I don't like fighting in ion storms. They really limit your options, because you can't power all of the stuff that you normally have powered. We come across another store, and in this one, there's just a human and a defense drone that I would be tempted, except that I don't have enough money. And I was running really low on fuel, so let's just buy some more fuel and be done with it. Jump up here. And we spot a rebel ship in the nebula and stay off the radar. Try to engage? Yeah, let's chase them. Now, these guys are fairly heavily armed. They've got 3 levels of shields and 3 lasers on them, so this is going to be a tricky fight. But, oh, and they sent boarders on. Well, that's what we have Mantises for. And I'm going to cloak to dodge that pulse laser. And with everything fully charged, it's time to start hitting their weapons bay. You can see, even though they started with the same health, my Mantis is way ahead of my human crew member, both in terms of how much health he has left and how much damage he's done to the enemy. Mantis are just better at hand-to-hand combat. This is why I almost never make boarding crews that are not Mantis-based. My dude is running really low on health, but I think we'll be able to kill him before he goes down. So, oh, he teleported off the ship anyway. That's okay. That done, I'll send my guys over to heal up while I finish off this ship. You can see it's got a ton of health. The rebel ships all generally have more hull strength than their non-rebel counterparts. I'm going to retarget one of the ion blasts at his engines just because if I can take down his engines, he'll be easier to hit. Just like yours, enemy engines affect their evasion, so targeting someone's engines is almost never a priority unless they're trying to jump away, but it can be useful sometimes. And there we go, we took him down. Got some scrap, which is good. And let's see, that's my shield guy, right? Yeah. And looking over at my skills, you can see my pilot has leveled up once and is on his way to maxing out his levels. My engineer has leveled up once, and my gunner is fully experienced, so he gets the maximum bonus to gunnery. My Mantis has gained a little bit of combat experience. I would really love to get him leveled up, but we'll see how that goes. And here we are at the jump point. I have enough time to visit one more sector before we leave, so I'm going to do that. And it's empty, so no rate loss. Wasted a little bit of fuel, but not a big deal. And with that, we are ready to jump to the next sector, and I think I'm going to cut the video off here, so I'll see you next time.